So, security policy of the company or organization. It is recommended that every organization or company should have a documented security policy. And we say documented means this should be written down and not just for the sake of having a policy and everybody knows that there is a certain policy. It should be written down so staffers or members of the company or people in the organization should be aware and understand what these security policies are and adhere to them. Now, so security policies of a company can largely determine how secure or insecure the company's network is, how much functionality the network can offer, and how easy the network is to use. An effective security policy forms the foundation of the company's entire approach to security. Now, what is a security policy? The security policy is basically a written document, a plan that identifies rules and procedures that all persons accessing, computer resources in an organization must adhere to. These are rules that they must follow in order to ensure confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of data and resources of the organization. Remember that data is paid for by the company using ISPs. Okay? The ISPs, remember, provide us the link to the internet. This is paid for. It costs money. So it is important. So again, we'll repeat that it is important to secure the data of the company or organization which you work with. And so we will have to follow this security policy, which we advise should always be put in writing. In other words, we said security policy puts into writing an organization's security posture, describes and assigns functions and responsibilities. Everybody knows how far they can go with the usage of the company's systems via the internet. And it also grants authority to security professionals and identifies the incident response processes and procedures. Again, the incident response processes are that when something should happen whilst in the course of usage of our systems over the internet, then maybe the IT department or whoever has been assigned or granted authority to handle these responses can be called upon to do so. Now, virus propagation. So a virus, as we all know, can be picked up from many sources. First of all, what is a virus? We will find out. Now, the virus, or whatever it is that attacks, we all know about viruses. We know about coronavirus now, which is ravaging the world and the harm that it can do. So the damage that can come to our computers over the internet is also described as virus. Now, the virus can be picked up from many sources. This could be email attachments, and in fact, the email attachment is the most predominant method now in this world that viruses can be picked up. Now, if an attachment to an email is opened, most of these hackers put in macro programs, and these, once the attachment has been opened, it runs in the system, and the virus tends to do two things. It sends itself to everyone in your contact list using your name, especially when you're an organization where you are connected to everybody in that organization. It also attaches itself to other files in your computer. Now, the nastier viruses, they say, can delete all of the files in the system or send files to a web server. So let's explain this now. We know what a virus is. the virus is a bad thing. Some kind of, like in humans, it causes disease and it has its fatalities, like with just compared to the coronavirus. Now, so in the, on the internet and in computer systems, these also come usually attached to emails. Now, when these these attachments are opened in the, in the emails, it then, runs a program in your system that kind of sends, messages to people in your, contact list, or also sometimes deletes the files in your computers. So of course, viruses are very bad things, but we should be mindful because we have just been told the method, the major method through which they come: emails and attachments to emails. So what should we do? Now, viruses are often distributed with a Trojan horse. Now, what is a Trojan horse? One would remember the Greek mythology. In fact, if you just do Google, maybe Wikipedia, and check on what Trojan is, the Trojan horse is from Greek mythology. When the Greeks tried to attack a city called Troy, for years they had been trying and they couldn't do it. So they actually delivered, a huge wooden horse at the gates of Troy. And as if they were under siege, they ran off and left the horse. Now, the city of Troy, thinking that they had, these were the spoils of war, that they had been able to ward off the Greeks, actually they dragged the Trojan horse, which was a huge wooden horse, into the city. Unfortunately for them, there were Greek soldiers hiding in the horse, so it was easy for them to get out and then destroy the city. And so they attacked them and won. So in much the same way, the malware, that is the virus, there are some viruses described as the Trojan horse. Once it gets into your system, the spyware, as they say, is a similar concept. But instead of destroying the files in your system, the spyware takes residence inside the computer. The spyware then captures all of the computer activities, such as websites visited, your passwords entered, and credit card numbers, okay? Periodically, the spyware software sends the information to a particular website, which is owned by the hackers, okay, who have put the spyware in your system. So it is there to spy. Anything you put there, the information that you put there, can be gathered and sent to the website, which belongs to these hackers. And so these hackers can do anything they want with it. So you realize how hackers on the outside have access to people's emails addresses, they have access to their credit cards, and do all sorts of bad things with them. So all these viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and spyware that we have talked about are often called malware. The word mal is, bad, malfunction, malnutrition, malware. So the word mal itself means bad. So all these things we've described, the spywares, the Trojan horses, viruses, are often called malware. Now, these are designed just to do bad things to computer systems. Now, spyware tools are particularly dangerous on public computers. That because a lot of people from the public, everybody goes to places like the internet cafes, they go to print shops, just libraries, and access computers in these places. It is very dangerous to do that, especially when you have to enter passwords or put in credit card data. So we advise to stay away from such computers if it is to do certain, particular business of, say, which require that you enter passwords or you put in your credit card data. This is serious advice that we need to keep. So what can you do if you are infected? You would have to minimize the damage. Once you notice the damage has been caused, you would have to minimize it. In large companies and organizations where there are IT departments, you would have to consult them immediately. In smaller companies, when there are no IT departments, you should have contact with a consultant or an IT person who handles your IT issues. So call them immediately. Now, the sooner they can investigate and clean up your computer, the less damage that will be done to your computer or to other computers on your network in the organization. Okay? If you're at home, if you are on a home computer or a laptop, disconnect your computer from the internet. And it is via the internet that these malware or viruses can reach your computer. So if you disconnect your computer or laptop from the internet, they cannot affect it. Then you can take it to your IT personnel to have it fixed. So by removing the internet connection, you prevent an attacker or virus from being able to access your computer and perform tasks such as locating personal data, manipulating or deleting files, or using your computer to attack other computers. There is always a solution to the viruses or attacks, just like there is medication for people being sick. There are many software programs which are available on the market to protect the computers and network from virus attacks. These are called antivirus software. Now, these will search the computer for known viruses and destroy them. So different antivirus software may target specific types of virus, but mostly the majority of them offer a package service so that they can do a whole lot of things and not just attack a specific virus, but then attack all viruses. Okay, so they can cure the computers or whatever viruses have been placed on those computers. Now, antivirus software, we say, can be purchased from the specialized software companies. Some are available freely online. And so the organization should make sure that they have properly installed, antivirus, software on their computers to enable them safeguard the situation. So if you're in an organization and you have this kind of knowledge, it will guide you, in the usage of the internet and computers in the office situation. This will bring us to the end of lesson 3.